I bet nobody else is gonna do this. No other YouTuber, bro. I hope they do though. So Behemoth is coming out, right here. September, tier 4. So what is the big deal? Let's talk about it. Behemoth, concerns and solutions. So this video is aimed at y'all and AGS. Before we get in, I want to talk about my channel sponsor. New Waifu Cups Season 6.8 dropping today, guys. Today, use my code !GG right there. It's in the video description box. I like pink. That one's pretty good. All right, shout out to channel sponsor !GG Gamer Subs. And hit the like. All right, because this is for you guys, not for me. In Korea, Ekina released in January 31st. Behemoth released March 17th. And Behemoth is a 1640 eye level. Only one mode. There's only normal mode. There is no side reel energy. There's no side reel skills. Okay. There are 2 gates, pretty light. 8 battle reses. So Zeus, what's the problem? You know, I heard from KR streamers that it's easy. Well, follow along with me. So let's go down history lane. So cleared few hours after launch. Proceeded to clear. So this is me. Proceeded to clear twice more on day 1. So I did 3 clears day 1. Mechanics wise, if you have one guy that can lead kindly, it's easy to follow along, in my opinion, okay? It's easy to follow along is what I'm trying to say. Reclear, meaning 2nd week, 3rd week felt good. Took longer to get 16 people together, lobby simulator, than the fight itself, right? There are 2 gates, right? It's about 22 minutes if it goes well on average. But today, it's a hit or miss in pugs, even though we are more geared than back in March. To tell you a little bit, Behemoth makes me rage the most. For those that watch my stream every day, right? And it makes me rage so hard because it makes no sense. Like, why is our damage getting worse when we're more geared than back in March? We have greed issue right now. Greed issue as well as gear doesn't equal skill issue. They finish weapons transcendence. They have high eye level, but that doesn't mean they're skilled, right? Just go watch my VOD today. There was greed issue. We just had to break 1 wing, not 2 wings, 1 wing in order to beat the shit out of the head. But the 1 wing, the last half HP, this is like the HP bar, it took so long to crack because everybody was holding DPS. Because once you crack, let me tell you how the fight works. There's Behemoth. He's a big boy, kind of cute. He has a body, wings, head. You hit the body, it changes color from white, yellow, orange, and then red. Red means it's broken. So when the body breaks, he brings down his wings, which are stationary. I mean, he might fidget a little bit to get you off the wing, but it's pretty stationary. And then you just Dark Grenade and then DPS the wings, right? And then when both the wings break within an allocated time, the head comes down. And then you break the head within allocated time, you get a damage window where he takes a lot of damage. Rinse and repeat until he dies. So basically, it's like a reward system. Break the body, do good DPS on the body, wings come down. Do good DPS on the wings, his head comes down, and you smash his head, and the fight gets shorter, faster, more fun, subjectively, all right? Because you see big numbers. And then everyone goes home happy with loot and gold. That's how it goes. But today we once again have greed issue. So generally lower tension. People have less focus. Like if it's Daemine or Ekina, 1 little misplacement, 1 false action equals death. So there's more tension. There's more focus. But because Behemoth is a chill, you know, everyone considers it easy, people let their guard down. That was Korea context. Of course, there is no NA-EU context because it's not out. But let me give you a little bit of history. Look at this. This is very important. In Korea, Khan came out August 24th. Ivory Tower, February 22nd. Faemine, September 13th, 2023. Ekina, January 31st. And then Behemoth, March 17th. A con for NAU, August 16th, and then Ivory Tower, December 20th, and then we have Faemine in April, Ekina 2 months later, and then Behemoth 3 months later. So basically, if you do the math, right, obviously Korea had more time to gear up the Akan gear. Almost a year of elixirs, and even more to gear up the Akan gear. NA, basically, overall less time. Korea had more time to gather gold and hone equals higher average item level. More time to gather gold and then do elixirs. So more users who finish 40 out of 40. More time to gather gold and do transcendence equals more power as shown above. Transcendence, 27%. With weapon transcendence, 27%. Elixirs for my blade, 24%. And my bracelet, 18%. What it means is that it equals relatively easier time for average KR groups. Why? Because high damage equals body breaks, which means the wings come down, which means that the wings get broken within the allocated time, which means we smash the head and deal more damage to the head because it's vulnerable, which equals less time to clear. Less time to clear means less likely to have accidents, people dying. You're seeing less short patterns, right? And people do lose focus the longer a run is. You're more prone to death the longer the run is. You're more prone to mistakes and dying the longer the run is. So less deaths equals more resurrects to save and burn for the save and use it for the last phase where people do drop. The last phase is a burn phase. People will die there, and having res is nice there. And we're gonna have res because we're gonna have less deaths because we have pretty good damage on average. So why am I concerned for the Western audience and addressing to y'all plus AGS? Y'all had less time to gather gold. You had less time to fortify your alts. Less time to gather higher generation of gold from ladder rates. Like, how much gold have you pumped from Thaemon and Ekina? I mean, Ekina's been out for like not even 2 weeks. Less time to do the vertical systems, which equals less power on average. So chat and the people watching this, do you now see the problem? Do you see where I just drove the taxi to? People say, oh, Behemoth is easy. It's easy. It's easy. It is easy because it's geared towards people that had this much time to farm. Okay, this audience. The raid was designed for this audience. You guys didn't have that much time. We're always going to be behind in materials and gold gen unless they do something drastic, and they won't. Hence why I'm talking. So just because it was easy for the KR audience doesn't mean it will be the same for the Western audience, right? This is like common sense, but has to be said. Has to be said. Western problems, I will target those in a separate video. Like, for example, throwing mats ain't the solution for the West. That's not gonna get people excited. Once again, do not bring the things from Korea over to NAU the same way, bro. Like, I could already feel Ekina, man. There's gonna be some complaints, bro. Right there. I warned you before Ekina came out. Warned you. Warned you. Don't group me up with those people that said Ekina is gonna be easy. I warned you, bro. Don't just bring it over, man. Okay? So let me give you a question, chat. Let me give you a question to the viewers. Which would you pick? Left or right? All right. Or let me do it better. Let's say they're the same item level, 1650, whatever, okay? 1640, whatever. They have the same level 10 gems. All right. Reaper has a 12% bracelet. You know, Gunslinger, not bad. 12%, close. Elixir is done. And Reaper's elixir is done. So same old, 9-7. 9-7. Let's say she also has level 10 gems. Reaper has level 10 gems. One is missing Transcendence. One has 28% Transcendence from body and weapon. Which would you pick for endgame raid, guys? 100% the one with the Transcendence. 28% damage is almost like 2 battle engravings, man. Pick the Transcendence, of course. Thank you for being honest, right? I'm not saying, look, once again, I'm not telling you guys to gatekeep. I'm not telling you guys what the minimum requirements are. I'd never do that. That's not what I do in this channel. I'm just asking you what you would pick. If they were the same class, same eye level, same 12% bracelet, elixirs 22%, all level 10 gems, one has Transcendence, the one doesn't, who would you pick? I need you to pay attention to this. I need you to follow with me, guys. This is a big problem. Which would you pick, left or right? People gonna say right. Reaper, because Reaper has Transcendence done, Elixir done. Why not Airmancer? Let me tell you something, guys. This will become a tier 4 character. Whether you like it or not, this will be what will be flooding Korea, Russia, NAU, Antarctica. Doesn't matter. Argentina. It doesn't matter. When tier 4 comes out, this character will be a tier 4 character. It will go do North Cruzan, do the Nut Castle, and acquire tier 4 gear starting 1620. So it will get 20 eye levels for free. So this character you might see apply to Behemoth. No elixir, no transcendence. Versus someone who has elixir, transcendence. Almost 50% more damage. Now, I'm not saying that Jill's doesn't deserve love. Of course, Jill deserves love. That's what this whole video is about. That's what this whole video is about. Like, I'm not telling you guys to be like, oh, this is not really a human. Give him like dirty treatment. Then why would I even make this video? You got to hear me out, right? The same thing's going to happen on July 10th in Korea, guys. I will show you. Just follow with me, guys. Come tier 4. 1620 will become 1640 after finishing North Cruzan plus Nut Castle. Do you understand why I'm calling it Behemoth Concerns and Solutions now? Behemoth eye level entry is 1640. If Behemoth launches on the same day as tier 4, if it launches the same day as tier 4, ooh, that's another problem. Why? Problem number 1, got so much to do already, plus now Behemoth. Let's say, who's in chat right now? Dick Chappie. Dick Chappie has to go do North Cruzan on the day tier 4 comes out in September for y'all in NAU. Plus, he's going to do the Nut Castle up to 3 times to get the tier 4 gear. And then he's going to do his tier 4 Chaos Dungeon because he's going to be fully rested, because he's going to be a good boy. And then he has to do the tier 4 Guardian and then grind his nuts to level 70. Now, I'm not saying you got to do all this on one day. I'm just telling you all, that's a lot of content, which is good. So basically, you guys get all of that stuff, plus you have to do Behemoth. So you know how you guys complain, oh man, Ekina, bro, why did you launch the continent and the raid at the same time? Had to rush the story, couldn't really, because my static is like, hurry up, Johnny, hurry up, man. Shift G. Right, that's about to get worse because you're gonna get Behemoth launching with tier 4. Tier 4 is like a very busy, hectic, confusing, happy time. And then you gotta, on top of that, you gotta do Behemoth, bro, right? And then problem number 2 is less time for fresh 1640 from 1620 to step-by-step work towards Behemoth. Like, look at this. Airmancer. I need the time to do elixirs. I need the time to do transcendence. So what I'm saying is that if Behemoth comes with tier 4, then the 1620 characters that just became 1640, right? Because this is a 1640 character. On July 10th in Korea, September for y'all. I'm not gonna have transcendence as well as the elixirs done. So I won't, what I'm trying to say is, oh, that's your fault. It is. So I won't be Behemoth ready. I won't be able to contribute. Oh, then I just won't raid with you, someone says in chat, right? Not that someone typed that, I'm just saying. The counter argument is, oh, I'll just gatekeep you. But listen, can you afford to gatekeep my baby Airmancer? Can you afford it? Let's take a look. So less time for a 1640, the fresh 1640, to do the step-by-step vertical progression to get ready for Behemoth. Because if it launches on the same day, there's no time. All right, so it won't have transcendence, stages 4 through 7, because 1620 characters don't have access to Hardmore Thamine. Some won't have elixirs. They're waiting for the elixir gold nerf, and generally lower plus weapon and advanced honing, and lower gems. So these baby 1620s, they're not gonna be geared. They just won't have the gold and the time. And then if you're a player like this, if you're like my Reaper, you're like, so why would I care? I'm ready to go. I have elixirs, I have transcendence, I have level 10 gems. Why would I care about this little baby? Oh, let's see about that. Follow with me, guys, because I know there's gonna be a lot of veterans being like, I don't want to play with that. I don't want to play with Jills, man. This guy has no transcendence, no elixirs. I'm gonna just kick him out. I'm just gonna play with my own kind. Full elixir transcendence. What is the problem then? Right here. Problem is, first, 3 separate regions exist in NAU. 3 separate regions. Population and average endgame player power is much lower than KR. Okay? Fielding a 16-man 1640 raid already sounds rough. NAW? So, even though there are maybe players like this, jacked, ready to go for Behemoth, 16-man raid you might have to bring Jills just to get the raid started, guys. Because you are separated into 3 separate regions, which I warned AGS about 3 years ago. So fielding a 16-man 1640 raid already sounds rough. Even in NA East, EU Central, NAW, I pray for y'all. Second problem, Behemoth was tuned to be easy for these players, for KR. We had so much more time to hone a con gear, so much more time to gather the gold as well, and then do elixirs. It is appropriately tuned for KR. And even though it's appropriately tuned, it still makes me rage the most. There's still big major mistakes going on in pugs, right? See, please listen to people that pug. Also, majority of y'all will not have a static. Okay, right there. You're not gonna have a static for a 16-man, dude, right? Because you guys had less time to farm gear. It's gonna be really hard to field multiple 16-man raids that are 1640 with Transcendence elixirs all done. It's not gonna be the same as KR. This is why I pug, to see what it's really like out there, bro. So people are gonna resort to pugging with a mix of geared versus fresh 1640s to fill the spot. So this is what I imagine. You're gonna have to bring Jills. You don't like Jills. Jills, ew, no elixir, no Transcendence. But because you guys have population problem, split into 3 regions, less time to farm gold, less time for vertical progression, less time doing the higher gold generating raids, right? You're going to have to bring Jills. Now you can pretty much tell why there's gonna be drama and problem, chat. You could already see it. The Reddit threads, right? You could see it coming, man. So they'll resort to pugging with a mix of geared versus fresh 1640s to fill spots, which means it equals lower average damage versus KR. Once again, some sensitive Andy's gonna be like, oh, we're better than KR players. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about skill. I'm sure you are better than KR players. That's great, all right? Just calm down. All right, calm down. That's not what we're talking about. It's a fact. It's a fact that KR had more time to farm gear. You're gonna be on average behind on gear. We're not talking about skill. Just calm down, put your pitchforks down. All right, so lower average damage versus KR. Lower damage equals longer time to kill the Guardians. So Behemoth in Gate 1 has, I don't want to bring too much spoilers, but he has 4 buddies. We have Calventus, we have Yoho, and we have Nakresina, as well as Valganusi. The longer you take to kill a Guardian, the NPC is prone to dying. There's an NPC, I forgot his, Marius, whatever his name is. If he dies, it's a wipe. Okay, the longer it takes to kill the Guardians, the more likely Marius, the NPC, dies. And if Marius dies, he wipes the raid, because he's the main protagonist. You can't let him die. And the longer you take to kill the Guardians, the longer your team is a 16-man raid. The 4 people split up. They split up to go tackle the Guardian. So the 4 people are missing from hitting the boss. The faster the damage is, the faster they come back to the rest of the group and damage the boss and break his armor. It's a domino effect. So lower damage equals longer time to kill the Guardians. Guardians do a lot of damage, by the way, because they'll need multiple cycles to kill the Guardian versus a more geared party, for example. They're gonna take longer to kill the Guardians, which means they come back later, which means it takes longer to break the body because the raid DPS is lower. So that's gonna be a problem. And then another problem is that if the wings fail to break, you have a little time window to break these wings, then you have less uptime on the cracked head. What does that mean? Less raid DPS, because the head takes more damage, as I explained. So what does that mean? If we can't break the wings because our damage sucks, what happens? Then you don't get to hit the head. Then what happens? That means you couldn't do extra juicy damage to the boss on the head. That means his HP will be higher. You're not going to melt him because his head is not being cracked and DPS down. So his HP is going to be high. So less raid DPS equals longer fight, equals more prone to mistakes because the fight is longer. Someone might lose focus. Someone can make a mistake, which means res is being used early. Resurrects are being used earlier than later. And if you don't have resurrects left for the burn phase in Gate 2, it might be a wipe. And that equals frustration, which equals future gatekeeping. If a player has a bad experience, they're most likely going to gatekeep in the future to prevent that kind of frustration. It even happens to me, man. This week, in the last 12 weeks of Behemoth, I got so frustrated. This week, I just almost snapped the vein, dude. What did I say? That from now on, I'm not joining any Behemoth groups. I'm gonna make it myself. I'm gonna make it myself, right? So frustration equals gatekeeping equals unhappy players. Why would you want your players to be unhappy? That's not what a video game is supposed to be, right? Also, Behemoth introduces another goal sync, Weapon Transcendence, okay? That pairing with the launch of Season 3 Tier 4, where there is already natural goal syncs. There's gonna be relic engravings, right? If you don't have your legendary engravings, guys, we're gonna make a video for engravings. Engravings is gonna give so much power in Tier 4, about like 22% increase, okay? So when we go into Tier 4, what I'm trying to say here is that when we go into Tier 4, we're gonna have natural gold sinks with the reset. Soft reset means, hey, new max eye level, new accessories. And even if you do it the cheapest way possible, like I'm gonna do, it still eats gold. So we have that on top of Weapon Transcendence. So do you see why this is a problem for the West? Korea, we had Weapon Transcendence. We're done with Weapon Transcendence. And then we go into Tier 4, right? We're going into Tier 4 with people saving millions of gold. For the Western audience, you're getting Behemoth with Tier 4. And that means Weapons Transcendence with Tier 4 gold sinks. Oh yeah, I want to say this, by the way. This motherfucker, right? Post history always blaming ever since Clown release. KR streamers kept giving us minimum requirements. What are you talking about, bro? I mean, at least don't group me up in that shit, man. I don't give minimum requirements. I'm just telling you how it is. I'm just telling you how it is. Yeah, like you gonna pick this guy or this guy? Who taught you to do that? Not me. No one taught me how to gatekeep. It's just that this is where it happens. Boss mechanics fail equals wipe equals frustration equals that person next time. Next time, I'm gonna raise the roof. If you take the slow approach, Weapon Transcendence can be used as another form of gatekeeping. And I'm gonna be can be, right? Can be. I never say do gatekeeping. You guys will do it yourselves in your own ways. Everybody has, any leader can use any billion reasons they want to use to gatekeep. Don't blame others like me unless you have negative IQ. I do believe the slow approach still is better. Like there's two camps. One, people that take it slow, they know their place. They know they're not gonna get accepted. And then there are people that feel like they're entitled. I'm not saying this is wrong, by the way. They feel they're entitled, that if they have the eye level, that they should be able to enter the raid. Does anybody feel like that in chat? Can you openly admit, do you have the balls to admit that you are one of those? Like, if I have 1630, I should be able to do Thaymine hard. Does anybody feel that kind of entitlement? Which, once again, is not a bad thing. I'm just saying there are two camps, okay? It should be like that. Right. Like I said, guys, there are people like that. I can't change their mind, all right? Unfortunately, the game should work like that, but it doesn't work like that, sadly. I wish it did. I wish it did work like that. But anyways, if you are like Jills, okay, press 1 in chat. I'm 1620. I'm parking at 1620. I didn't do Elixir. I'm waiting for the Elixir Gold nerf, the new Elixirs. I'm not going to do Transcendence right now. I'll just cut it when it's cheaper. I can't even do Thaymine hard. I'm 1620. Press 1 in chat. You're not alone, chat. You're not alone. Look at the amount of players, the amount of characters in Korea that is there, that is like you, right? Over 380,000 characters will have access to Tier 4 in Korea on July 10th. I wish those were the same numbers in NAU, but once again, you guys had less time to farm. So half of those will not have Transcendence. Half of those will not have Transcendence stages 4 through 7. Right? It's impossible. Look at the chart. Look at the math. Look at the facts. Okay? Gems? Do you think 380,000 characters will have level 9 and 10 gems? Absolutely not. Yesterday, 3 Guardian runs where one person didn't have any gems and he got called out. And a second run, he had a Glavier 1630 had level 7 gems in Vascal. And then a War Dancer who had the full level 10 gems said, I'm not going to DPS because there's a homeless guy in the raid. I recorded the whole run. This is not made up, right? He refused to attack waited till 3 minutes so he could Song of Escape without a penalty. And what do you think their weapon is going to be? Is it going to be 20? Is it going to be 21, 25? So what I'm trying to say is, you're not alone, guys. If you're like Jills, you're waiting for tier 4, but you don't have elixirs and transcendence done, and you don't have high level 10 or levels 8, level 9 gems, you're not alone. So let's look then. What is going to happen to Jills, right? We're not worried about Zeal's TV. We're not worried about this guy. He has elixirs, he has transcendence, he has level 10 gems. He'll be fine. But what about this baby? So nice guy versus efficient, gotta go fast speed demon. All right. So jolly happy leaders will set most people over 1640, I imagine, in NAU. Jolly happy leaders would be like, 1640, welcome, welcome. Let's all raid together, guys. You know, we are separate in 3 regions. It's gonna be hard to fill a 16-man raid. I need y'all. Let's go. All right. Even the fresh ones like Jills. Jills will get in the raid. She'll be getting into Behemoth. Yay! The other spectrum is we have the efficient, I don't want to wipe or be jailed or have non-experts. Let's be fast, right? You got those people, and they exist. Press 1 in chat. When you guys do Thaymine Reclear, Ekna Reclear, when you do a Khan or Ivory Tower Reclear, you want to get in and get out fast as possible. You got other raids to do. You got 17 other raids to do. You got 40 Chaos Dungeons to do. You got a jerk off. You got animes to watch. You got OnlyFans to resubscribe to, right? So the thing is, there is, just as there are going to be jolly leaders, there are going to be these guys. And what did these guys do? They will heavily increase gatekeeping from July 10th. But then the more they gatekeep, the longer it takes to fill. Right? I'm not saying do this. I'm not saying do this. I'm telling you, there's people like this. But you could imagine that this was gonna happen. This is gonna happen, right? Like someone said in chat, I want to play with my own kind. There are those players, guys. I didn't make those people like that. I didn't mind control them. Ooh, like I didn't do anything. Some people want to only play with people with elixirs and transcendence level 9 and 10 gems. Some people want to only play with 24, 25 weapons. I didn't make the rule. Because there's gonna be people like this. And because of all the issues I said, tier 4 drop in with Behemoth, right? And because NAU had less time to farm gold, should AGS Smilegate intervene? Absolutely. Will they? This is where you guys matter. And I really hope AGS do step in. Here are the solutions. Easiest solution is nerf Behemoth on launch or 1 to 2 weeks after. First, nerf Behemoth Guardians, his bodyguards in gate 1, HP and damage that they do. Okay, gotta nerf their HP. Second, nerf Behemoth's body, wings, and then head. The overall HP needs to be nerfed. That's not in it. The body needs to be nerfed. Wings HP need to be nerfed so it's easier to crack them. Third, increase battle resurrections. There are 8 battle reses. If the fight takes too long, the battle reses will be all eaten up before the final burn phase in gate 2. Okay, but people gonna be like, but what about my challenge? Don't take my fun away. I get you. Not that Behemoth is a challenge for really geared, really skilled people. Okay, it's just a guardian to those people, to the geared, skilled players, right? It's not gonna be a challenge anyways, but for those that want to maintain the challenge, we can roll out the nerfs 1 week so tryhards can kill it pre-nerf, okay? If that makes them happy, 1 week. Some people do care, but not a lot of people care about challenge when it comes to farm content. They just want to get in and get out. Like Hardacon. Do I care that Hardacon is, ooh, so hard? You gotta do this right. I just want to get in and get out, bro. Right? I know some people still want to maintain the difficulty, but most people, they just see it as a daily, a weekly. Increased gold generation like Tencent China is doing to the raids for fresh 1640 to do. Okay? Even though a fresh 1640, this is a fresh 1640. 1620 becomes 1640. Even though new elixirs will have gold cost reduction, as well as transcendence have gold cost reduction, there's a lot to do, man. Right? Let's think about it, right? This baby, when she steps into tier 4, let's go down. She's gonna still do Ivory Tower on hard. She still probably won't get into Thaymine hard without the elixirs and transcendence, right? So her gold generation didn't really change. Her eye level did, right? So I'm gonna probably keep doing the old raids, and then with that gold, I gotta work on the elixirs. Okay, so I'll get the elixirs done. Check. Couple weeks later, I work on the transcendence. I finally somehow got into a Thamine hard group. Baby Jills finally got accepted. Some generous leader, jolly leader took me. And then I get transcendence, right? The achievement. I do Thamine hard, gate 3. Now I can do my transcendence to level 7. So I put my free-to-play gold that I have to earn every week. And maybe a couple weeks later, I finally get transcendence. I finally do. Now, maybe people will take me to Behemoth. Maybe not though, because by then people will be like, oh, need to have weapon transcendence. But hopefully I find a nice person that takes me in. And then I finally get weapon transcendence. But do you see what the problem is? It just never ends. That's why you gotta increase gold generation like Tencent is doing. So that these guys like Jills can finish your elixirs, finish your transcendence, finish your weapon transcendence, and then hone her tier 4 gear, prepare for A gear, as well as Brel. Yes, that's the whole point of an MMO ARPG. Get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. This is not really a complaint. It is what's ahead. Non-stop progression. I get that. You could help people get there, man. You could definitely help people, right? If Thamine normal drops a little bit more gold, if Fold is hard drops a little bit more gold, like 1,000 more, like Tencent China is doing, what the hell's the problem? Why not? Balance Behemoth with the mind of the fresh 1620s, right? Like, let's say she does 12 million DPS. Keep that in mind. This guy does 40 million, 50 million DPS, right? So please don't, what I'm trying to say is, don't bring the same thing from Korea, right? 16 man, 12 DPS that can pull 40 to 50 million DPS. Baby Jills, she will not be doing that kind of number. So if you release the raid with 12 of these monsters in mind, which is how they release Behemoth in Korea, Behemoth is not going to be very good in NA. People not going to like it. There's going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of complaint. You need to keep these guys in mind and balance it. Tune Behemoth for fresh 6040s in mind with a mix of fully decked 1640s. That should be the goal by AGS Smilegate. You cannot bring Behemoth from Korea the same way. No way. No way. It's gonna cause a lot of drama. People, like, why do you want to make people unhappy? Right here. Why do you want unhappy players? Raids are supposed to be fun. So please don't bring the same thing from KR. We had more time to gear, more time to the vertical progression. So you gotta keep this in mind, man. You gotta keep the fresh 1640s. So mechanically, if you are a 1620 and can do Frog, Ivory Tower, normal Thamine, normal Echina, you can generally execute Behemoth. Mechanically, no problem. The problem is not mechanically, the problem is lack of power and the damage taken. A 1620 without Elixirs and Transcendence who just hit tier 4 are not gonna be able to do the same DPS as a 1640 character now. With Transcendence, full Transcendence and Elixirs. That is just a fact! In Korea, Behemoth was balanced around these players. So please, in NAU, we have a lot more players that are gonna be 1620. A lot more players like Jills. So please balance it around a mix of Jills and a few of these. Okay? Please, man. Lastly, don't say I didn't warn you, Aegis. I warned you about Echina, I warned you about Thamine, I warned you about Elixirs, I warned you about Transcendence, I warned you about the regions 3 years ago. I have the receipt. I warned you about the bots because you didn't have authentication verification. Don't say I didn't warn you, man. Don't group me up with other freaking streamers. Make the fun rate a generally fun experience to the majority of those experiencing it. It's a game. The core design is to have fun. Make sure to go the extra step to make that goal of Dude, I can't freaking talk, man. Make sure to go the extra step to make that goal a reality, not a dream, man. Don't miss with Behemoth. You don't want players angry with Behemoth. At the launch of tier 4, on one of the easier raids in Korea, make sure that it's intention. The intention of Behemoth is to be a light 16-man fun raid. Bring that same intention to NAU. That doesn't mean copy the raid over directly, okay? Adjust it so that it is enjoyable for the Western audience. Even though it's tuned like this in Korea, it's gonna be a problem in Korea too. You'll find out in July 10th, when the floodgates open, right? It's gonna be a problem here. When these players, when 380,000 additional half of the 380,000 characters have access to Behemoth, you could bet your ass Behemoth is gonna have issues in Korea. You could bet your ass, bro. You don't need to be a wise guy to predict this, okay? If it's already gonna be a problem here and we're geared, it's gonna be a big problem in NAU, bro, okay? So Behemoth is launching with Tier 4 in the West. I can't stress this enough, bro. That means a jumbo mix of current 1620 characters without vertical progression done, with those already near or at 1640, okay? So what I'm trying to say is it's going to be a mix of people who didn't do elixirs and transcendence with those that have done those, all right? It needs to launch tuned so there's no animosity between your endgame players. Please listen. Please listen and do this right with Smilegate, man. Thank you. I'm just worried about these guys. And I just don't see how only these guys can do Behemoth in the West. It's just impossible. Yeah, sure, couple 16-man raids with full these guys. I could see that. Okay. In NA East, 3, 4, 5 groups with full jacked players do Behemoth. 16-man raid. Sure. I could see that. But there's gonna come a time where these players need to mingle with these players. They need to work together to feel the 16-man raid, right? They have to work together. And if that is to go well, it needs to be lowered. The requirements to kill the boss needs to be lowered. The DPS checks need to be lowered. Or this guy will get angry at this guy. Okay? This guy will be like, next time, I'm not bringing you Jills. And then just bring only his kind. If AGS Smilegate doesn't listen, and they don't nerf Behemoth the way I said, or if they have a better idea, go by all means. What's gonna happen is these guys are gonna just sell buses, or they're gonna play with their own kind, and then they're not gonna bring these guys. Okay? What you want is to bring these guys to fill the 60-man raid. It's supposed to be a light, jolly, easy raid. That's the intention.